What? I understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? Lloyd Jones with Midnight Comics, and welcome to another episode of Indie Breakdown, the show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' power, stats, and abilities, and get them ready for an eventual indie versus matchup. We've got another amazing guest on today, season 3. Can y'all believe that? It's another awesome guest on today. We're going to bring him on the stage, let him introduce himself and the characters he's bringing to the breakdown today.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going
Happy to
on,
be on
boss?
the show, man. I love you guys. First of all, before I even introduce myself, just let me say that you guys are my favorite family in indie comics, and it is an honor to be on the show with you. And both of you have done amazing things, and I'm just proud to be here.
No,
So,
thank you.
with that said, my name is Aleem Leggett. My story is The Diary of Sweet Pea, and today we're going to talk about Immani Williams and Himba, who are two characters from my series that is rocking out so far.
Okay. All right, so let's dive in. Tell us a little bit of the inspiration behind the characters, and then we're going to start breaking this thing down, talking about their powers and stuff.
Okay. So Himba, I'll start with her. She's not the main character, but she's like, I'm hoping that she'll be like my Itachi in the series. You know, that character that you don't see a whole lot of, but when they show up, like they show out, and like people love them. So she originally was based on the Himba tribe, which is the people in Africa that wear they have the red clay on their skin, and they plait their hair a certain kind of way and things like that, right? So that was the original design, and eventually over time and through the needs of this story, she evolved into a completely different character that now, even though she still has that design basis, they're aliens from another dimension who are hunting, whose planet has been destroyed by a group called the Bane, and they hunt them across dimensions, participating in guerrilla warfare and doing what they can to stop them as a form of revenge. So that's
Ooh, okay.
my main character is Immani Williams, and Immani is my daughter's middle name, so there's some inspiration that comes from that, but very loosely, because mainly she represents inner city children, I guess, and like she's the crux of the story, because ultimately the story is about the development of children inside of violent environments, and dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder and things of that, uncertainty with food and all other kinds of stuff. So like, there'll be all kinds of wacky stuff going on, but this is what I set out to do, is tell a story about that in an interesting way. Now, if it stays like that, I don't know, but that was the inspiration that I started out with.
Dude, that is amazing. Wow. Now, like when saying that now, it's like, oh, okay, I could see the elements that's in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously we're gonna jump into it. We'll start with Himba first. Tell us what all Himba can do.
All right. So she has increased. Well, first of all, she's tall. Like you'll see the comparison in issue 3. I don't think she really stood up against anybody besides the Bane, who are also really tall. So she's maybe like over 7 feet tall easily, right? Very athletic, fights kind of like a Wonder Woman, or like a Black Canary. She's very tactical inside of her combat, and her race uses crystal technology, right? So she has daggers and other gems, and you even see it on her armor and everything like that. They all have different vibrations that they can work from. So the way their technology works is they'll whisper a vibration into a crystal, and it might do like healing. They might give it healing effects, or like a supersonic vibration, fire, ice, things like that, right? And Himba is actually the keeper of the Hymn of Oblivion, right? So even among her race, which is called the Rizoas, she like stands out at the top of the like the most feared, most wanted by the Bane.
Okay.
So the Hymn of Oblivion is, I'm giving you guys spoilers, man.
Oh no, no spoilers then. No spoilers. We got to
Yeah,
pick up the book and read it.
no, you can pick this. The Hymn of Oblivion is basically everything inside of creation is connected through some kind of vibration, right? So if you
Mhm.
counter that in theory, right, in my theory anyway, it kind of disrupts it. It's like atomizing things like that. So it's a huge responsibility for her to hold. It's not something that she takes lightly. She's a very honorable character,
Mhm.
and yeah. So I mean, that's Himba.
Okay, so let's talk about this then. Let me ask strength wise, right? What is she lifting up? Like, what is she? Is she throwing buildings at people, lifting cars? What are we talking strength wise here?
Himba can maybe like two grown men she could toss around easily, right?
Okay.
But if you look at her, she has these tattoos on her skin that are also infused with that crystal technology.
Hmm.
So she might be able to like run through walls or lift up trucks or things like that, but not nothing too over the top with her strength or anything like that.
Okay, and of course, safe to say she's easily punching through walls and whatnot. Is she like
Yeah.
decimating cars with punches and stuff as well, or?
Yeah. She's not the she's there is a small, like I said, it's guerrilla warfare. So she has a small team that will be introduced eventually, but
Hmm.
she's kind of like the all arounder, right?
Okay.
So I wouldn't say that she's like just chucking an armored truck across the street or
Right.
you know what I mean? But
Fair. Fair.
she could definitely punch through a wall. She could knock somebody through a like dent a car. She kick somebody into it and stuff like that. But
Okay.
not like, see, when you start talking like that, I start thinking like Hawk and things like that. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, so she ain't going that far with her strength, but like way past Batman, past like Wolverine,
Okay.
even I think, who is like an enhanced strength person. Like, so Batman is the upper limit of peak human, right?
Hmm.
Wolverine has some crazy feats, probably around like Captain America.
Okay.
So
Okay. Fair enough.
I think that's a good place to put her in strength.
And so, is it safe to say that's the case with durability as well? Is she tanking strikes through, like, is she blocking tank rounds or something of that nature?
Yeah, she could do that, but more than likely she won't get hit, right?
Ooh.
She's not like, she's agile. Yeah, she's a very agile fighter, very tactical in the way that she fights. She wouldn't take a hit that she didn't have to, and she doesn't have to take a lot of hits based on
Ooh.
her
Okay.
her fighting prowess and skill.
Noted. So perfect segue into speed then. How fast is she running? But also, what is kind of any type of reactionary speed, right? So is she running faster than Usain Bolt and then fast enough to react to bullets, or like how? Yeah, what are those two kind of spots for it?
Definitely faster than Usain Bolt.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Fast enough to react to bullets, I would say too, but aim dodging. You know what I mean?
I see.
So
Yeah.
like she can zip in and out of bullet fire by reading where the guy's aiming to fire and not standing there. Right?
Okay.
She's fast enough to do that. So after a bullet is fired, it would be a stretch to say that in her basic form that she would be able to dodge a bullet once fired,
Hmm.
but she can definitely use those modifications that we spoke about earlier to up
Hmm.
those stats to a point where I think that she might be able to get around that.
So let's talk about that then. With those markings or what have you. Is this where she's at kind of base, or is that base, or the stats that we've been talking about? Does that include those markings and the power that it gives, that power amplification?
Well, I don't want her to be super OP and like have everything, right? So
Hmm.
she's got to work for it, and I want her to like be a dog in the fight and rely on the technology that she using.
Okay.
So she's strong enough to break a Bane's neck with a kick to the jaw and base. All right. And these
Mhm.
are like half dragon, half man kind of things. So
Oh, that's heavy.
there's those are also strong enough to just like ignore small arms fire, right?
Okay.
So she is heightened in strength, right?
Hmm.
And like, and I think that would translate into durability, but again, like she's not taking a whole lot of hits in base. She's a cut above the competition that she faces, right?
Hmm.
Like like a martial arts character.
Yeah.
And also in speed, yeah, and base, like I said, aim dodging and things like that. Now, once she has those enhancements in, I haven't really examined it yet, so I don't want to cap it up and tie myself to something that,
Yeah.
like unnecessarily, but let's just say that those things would probably like double or triple at that point. So she's
Okay.
not Wonder Woman, right? That's
Right.
just
Right.
like could lasso a whole building and throw it into the sun if like if she needed to, but she is an impressive fighter and want to see out in the street somewhere.
Okay. So, hmm. Tell us more about her fighting prowess, right? How long has she been how long has she been fighting? How what is more of that training? What kind of training specifically does she have, and yeah, and how long has she been doing it?
Okay, so they were a peaceful people
Mhm.
before the Bane came to their planet that like lived in harmony and things like that. They respect they speak a lot of she speaks a lot about respecting balance and things of that nature. So that was their commitment. Now, once the Bane destroyed their planet, they age a lot slower.
Mhm.
So she's actually been on Earth for like I think at this point it's over 100 years that she's been on Earth to helping them prepare behind the scenes, like the whole Roswell, New Mexico crash landing thing. So
Mhm.
in my world, that was her, and they've been here all this time because they knew that this was a stop on the Empire's journey. So she set a trap with them.
Mhm.
So she's been you know. So it's just she's that old, but their war has been going on for thousands of years. So she has probably like 400 or 500 years of battle experience from fighting inside of this war against this enemy specifically. And these are like monsters that she's fighting, right? Um,
Okay.
the enemies that she fight isn't really big on like projectile technology or anything like that. They value their own strength and they're monstrously strong and they can, of course, like breathe. Some of them can breathe fire and some of them have telepathy and things like that. And they also have a full empire behind them. So, like you have a group of 5 going against planetary invasions and she's the cream of the crop
Mhm.
of those guerrilla fighters. So I guess that might give you some idea of, like how she fights and her battle experience.
Mhm. Okay. So, man, man. Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of her. And when are we seeing her again? So she was at the end of issue two.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Her
And
first
we're gonna
appearance was
see.
issue 2.
Okay.
You'll see
What?
her again in issue 3 and sporadically, you know what I mean, throughout the series. Because I
Okay.
definitely want to do more with it. She's my favorite character,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, she's my favorite character. So I want her to get shine. I want her to be valuable and not overused. And
Yeah.
like when she pops up, I want like be like, oh shit, here she
He's
comes.
back. Stone Cold. Stone Cold.
Yeah, you hear the glass shatter when she come out.
Bro. So now I gotta ask. Let's get to Imani right quick.
All right.
Tell it. Let's break down what. Well, and again, I guess I'm partially scared about spoilers. But let's get down to what exactly is going on with her. What do we got? What are the powers and abilities there?
All right. So I'm comfortable talking about it now because the cat's out of the bag. Before, like I used to like, oh, it's a twist, but
Mhm.
I had to bring it, in issue 2 just to keep the story rolling. So we can get into it now. All
Okay.
right. And if you read issue 1 and 2, then this won't be a spoiler for you. If not, then you took too long and now it's time to catch up.
Pause the video,
All
go
right.
get the book, come back.
Yep. All right. So when in issue 1, there's this energy inside of the sky, right?
Mhm.
Imani's affected by this energy along with, like a few other people.
Mhm.
Okay. And this gives her this power that she's not aware of at this time. So like she's in a developmental stage with her abilities, but
Mhm.
she has psychic projection powers, construct creation, energy, energy creation, and things like that.
Mhm.
She's a total like glass cannon for right now because she's
Mhm.
still learning. All of this is happening as a reaction
Yeah.
to the things around her, right? So she forms these guardians to protect her when she's scared, or talk to her when she's lonely, things like that.
Mhm.
But do I want to talk? I know a couple people haven't read it, so I don't want to like give up the goods. But this is what
Yeah,
the
that was
basis of her
perfect.
powers, right?
No, that was
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. So with that, with those manipulations, that energy manipulation and creation and stuff, what are some of the things? And of course, if you've read the book, anybody that's listening or watching this on Patreon, if y'all read the book, you know exactly what we were alluding to here. But I still do want to ask a question. What are sort of the upper limits of what she can do with these with this energy creation and manipulation, right? You did say that she's able to make constructs and essentially entities that can that she converses with. So are they sentient in and of themselves? Like,
They are very believable, right? So like
okay.
it's not just her that sees them or interacts with them, but like if she made one here and it was you would think that it was a real person, but ultimately it's her idea of that person or that thing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So
Got you. Okay. So the more she
so
understands a person, the more
right,
believable that
right.
construct is.
Or like her feelings towards that thing. I got some surprises for you in issue 3, where you'll get a better understanding of this conversation because
Mhm.
it's like there's another construct there that she has to deal with. So you'll get an idea. But yeah, it's the more she understands them, the more they seem realistic. But if
Mhm.
it's like a family member, then she's going to be, like that she thinks a protector, then that's what that thing is going. The primary objective is going to be protect Imani,
Okay.
above all else. And if it's somebody that she thinks is strong or like can't be beat, then it's not like invincible, but
Mhm.
it's going to be really goddamn strong, right?
Interesting. Okay. So she's like the first thing that kind of comes to mind initially when we're talking about energy projection creation, stuff like that, her imagination and stuff. She's like a walking kind of Green Lantern without like the power ring or something, where it's just like
Without the power
my
ring.
will is projecting this. But now it's like
Yeah,
if I say they not getting stopped, for the most part, you really got to be hitting heavy to stop something of this
yeah,
nature.
yeah. Because like different people have a different synthesis level inside,
Mhm.
like of this energy that exists inside of the world. But for the vast majority of humanity, it's not going to have any effect on them, right?
Mhm.
Same thing for animals and plant life and all of that stuff. Like all life on Earth has a chance of being affected by it according to the synthesis level that they have. So Imani's is sky high, probably the highest on Earth, right?
Okay.
Others might be a little bit lower. Others might be harmed by it. I don't know if I'm going to get into it, but that was a part of the concept, like that, like kind of like the Mist and Stephen King, where like some people interact with it. It has different effects on them, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure if we're going to go there or not. So I don't want to get too far into that. But
Fair.
it's extra dimensional energy. It's like the echoes of the Big Bang kind of energy that we're dealing with here, right? So
Mhm.
she is filtering the stuff of the cosmos through her body, and she's not very good at it yet, and she hasn't
Yeah.
fully adapted to it yet. So
Mhm.
if you hit a construct hard enough, she has to, that energy has to come from somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
it's coming from her, and it's still kind of a link. And like I said, she's a glass cannon right now. So like smashing that might take that and her out of the fight all in one go. If
Mhm.
somebody, like strong enough, like a I don't want to say like a nuclear bomb went off, but like
Mhm.
if it hits hard enough, then she's going down for now. Got power coming, but not yet.
Okay. So now, yeah, and it was almost foolish for me to say, well, we can assume her durability, but maybe not, right? Because if like you said, it's pulling from somewhere, right? So if she's feeling the same strikes that these constructs are feeling.
Not really. It's like the standard tropes for mentalist characters,
Oh, I see.
like Jean Grey passes out. That's why she has nosebleeds and stuff like that, because
I
like
see.
her brain's adapting to this. She got this stuff running on autopilot, so it's not even like, it might not even be efficient right now. Like
Mm.
she's her power to have a conversation on the couch with
Mhm.
somebody that, you know
Facts.
what I mean?
Okay.
Like so
Okay.
so so
So it's
as
a
she
subconscious
grows,
thing.
yeah, yeah, and as she grows to understand her power, and then like like could wrap her body in it, then her durability goes up. Right now, she's got the durability of a 14-year-old girl. It's the
Okay.
construct that you need to worry about
Okay.
because that thing, you know, hits like a truck.
So, oh man. Okay, so that was going to be a bug by other questions. Like, is she without this at the moment? She's still just a 14-year-old kid. Um,
Yeah,
Mentally though, with these abilities and stuff like that, does that add anything to kind of reactionary, reactionary speed or anything of that nature, right? So she's got, she's projecting a construct that's fighting, say, somebody that's able to move faster than a speeding bullet, right? Is the
right.
construct able to keep up with that? And in turn, does that mean that she is able to perceive those type of things?
Yeah, yeah, she can. Like I said, again, it's all subconsciously. But even inside issue one, you see like you see them zooming down the street. So now you're talking about super speed, you're talking about super durability, you're
Hmm.
talking about super strength, like the strength to actually rip a person in half, super strength. It's
Right.
like she has all of that. And like I don't want
Mentally.
to give yeah, I don't want to give that all to her, like attribute it to her, even though the construct is just her tool ultimately. But I don't want to say like Imani's super strong, because it's not. Imani's is super strong. It's the power that she's using is super, super strong.
Mhm.
Right.
So,
And
okay. Okay. So what is the upper limits of these constructs then? Obviously, at this point in the story, that's out
yeah,
now. Is that the limit of the strength, being able to rip a person in half? Or is there some kind of more inherent strength that's, kind of similar question to when we talk about Himba. Is it tossing cars into the air? Like can the construct toss armored vehicles in the air? And we already talked about how hard it has to hit to kind of dissipate, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm curious.
yeah. I would say that it can, because like it might not actually like lift the car and toss it up into the air, but I
Mhm.
mean like to talk about it, we gotta talk about it. So we're talking about her dad, the construct of her father, right?
Mhm.
And mine is like, I bet your dad can't beat my dad. If that was a person, then that's
Oh,
Imani.
wow.
So, 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 so she might not have him lift up a car, because my dad can't lift up a car. Like that's not something my dad does. But if we talking about square up and fight, my dad's going to
Mhm.
trash you, and like so that gives it more strength for her to, for it to be able to fight.
Mhm.
Right? So
Okay.
like that's why that fight went the way that it went at the end of issue one, where like he's housing this thing, and it had some attacks that seemed like it should have had some kind of effect, but Not
Yeah.
really, because unless the attack is strong enough to kind of break down the mental reserves of Immani, it's not going to have any real effect on the construct.
Okay. And then with that being said, then so like obviously we saw kind of the scene at the end of issue 1, I think, where he seemingly he just disappears or whatever. Is it Can they function? And I think I kind of alluded to this question earlier. Can she have them kind of function without her kind of consistently? I know they're not sentient to a degree, but can they function on their own without her
Yeah,
consistent kind of focus?
yeah, they are absolutely reactional, and her senses are evolving in a way that she doesn't fully understand. So um it's like fight or flight, right?
Hmm.
So if something scares her or causes her system to kind of like drink into that state, then you'll see it like in issue 2. You see it in the church for a second, right?
Hmm.
It's just a moment happens, and then a construct pops out, and she's not even aware that it happened. So it's not
Right.
her that's doing it. She's not like putting her hands to her head and like
Right.
go or anything like
Ah!
that. Yeah, these are happening. So she has like this kind of like semi-cosmic awareness thing
Okay.
where if she were to be attacked from behind, I think this is like kind of what you're asking, right? Like if
Hmm.
she's sitting down eating and something sneaks up behind her, can the construct react to that without her knowing that it's there, right?
Hmm.
So like I'm not going to say definitely, but it's a maybe kind of thing. It depends on like her energy level at the time, how often she has been using her powers,
Hmm.
and other things like that. Because she is definitely like for now a battery that kind of drains on her. So you'll see her even like pass out and things like that from
Okay.
overuse.
Dude, I'm very interested to see where this goes because I'm almost imagining. I obviously just speculation here as a fan. I'm sitting here like I can imagine seeing a older version of her now understanding and coming to terms with everything. Well, first off, the world is going to be in shambles. I don't know what's about to happen with everything that's going on right now. That's going to be insane. But she's growing up in this whole situation, obviously with the stuff that she's gone through already, and I can't wait to see when she finally realizes everything that's going on with her and how she's going to react to that. I really can't wait to see more of her growing into, I guess, this role she's been thrust into. I guess I'm trying to say
Yeah,
I can't wait to see that
yeah,
version of her. It's not necessarily a glass cannon, but she definitely still wears everything that she's gone through on her sleeve. Like I can't wait to,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful It's going to be a beautiful journey, man. Because, like I
yeah,
said before, you know what the story is about, right? It goes
yeah,
back to like the basis of kids inside of these wild environments, and you see them like, well, like I'm assuming it's the same in every hood. These
yeah,
kids is wild Lynn, right? So we looking at why. I can't say that she's gonna be a hero by the end of the series, right? And I
yeah,
can't say that she's gonna be a villain or something in between. What I can say is that you got a kid growing up alone, right? She's she's
mm-hmm,
she's basically orphaned, right? With like nobody looking out for her but herself.
mm-hmm,
There's no there's no food, there's no shelter, there's no security without some kind of violence attached to it. And she's also like a walking calamity, right?
yeah,
Like possibly everywhere that she goes. So like cosmic level energies, multidimensional stuff that's filtering into this girl, and she has to deal with all of that. Luckily, she has a strong upbringing, so her foundation
yeah,
is strong, right? Which is why we have those flashbacks of her and her dad in those moments
mm,
to like kind of compare to what the advice that's going to kind of help guide her through what she has to go through.
yeah.
You know, and so it could go either way. Like I'm really on the fence about it, right? Because on the one hand, I want that guidance of the father to mean something, like enough to keep her on the
straight and
like the
narrow.
straight and narrow.
Yeah.
But I also like think it'd be really cool for her to turn into Darth Vader. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure where
Listen,
she's
if you
going to
do
go
that,
yet.
listen, Darth Vader had a redemption arc too. Like it's never too late to come back. You know what I mean? So, hey.
True, man.
Dude, you brought some very interesting characters here. And since you did them together, I'm thinking, so what we did in the past when somebody came on and had multiple characters that weren't, well, actually, it's the first one I think that wasn't a actual like team up. What we do is when there's more than one character, they are the same team. So it's Himba and Immani on the same team in that eventual indie versus matchup. So I'm very interested to see or discuss rather what that potential team up could look like. And of course, we're taking all characters as they are in canon, right? In the canon of these stories and stuff, and saying, all right, from what we've seen from both of them, one, their teamwork isn't going to be the best because Himba's not even going to be expecting her to be able to do anything, right? So just anyway, side tangent. I can't wait to further explore the potential of these characters when we get to the character breakdown section of this.
Sounds great, man.
Before I get to my rambling phase, which you know very well I can do, I can ramble. I want you to let everybody that's listening and or watching know where they can find you and how they can continue to support you.
Okay. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Sweet Pea Comic. If you look it up, I have a shop in the TikTok shop. If you're interested in buying a physical copy of the book, you can order it through there. They usually have some good discounts and things like that. So like you'll make out pretty good there. I haven't opened up a website yet because I only have the 2 issues of the 4, and I don't want to do it just yet. Maybe after I finish this first arc, you can find me, but you can find me on their Sweet Pea Comic, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Inbox me if you need to. That's the other thing I need to say. If you don't want to go through the TikTok shop and you rather just, like you want a digital copy from me instead of a physical one to check it out, then you could just inbox me and we can work something out.
Okay. Yo, thank you, bro. I think first off, this has been a long time coming because I think we were supposed to have you on season 2, and I got caught up. Similar to previous interviews, I got caught up. So apologies on that, but it was really good to finally have you on and really talk about these characters and stuff. And again, I look forward to breaking down the characters for you there and just really getting that video out to you. I think it's gonna be pretty epic.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it for sure.
So everybody watching and listening, thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, there's been another episode of Indie Breakdown. We're Midnight Comics, so definitely hit up midnightcomics.org if you're interested in being on the next season of Indie Breakdown, which the form may or may not be open right now. Date to come if it's not by the time this airs, but if it's there, sign up. There's available days and all that other good stuff on there. We also, you can find us anywhere. I don't know if I said this already. You can find us everywhere as Midnight X Comics, except for Facebook and YouTube, where it's just Midnight Comics. And we have a whole host of things that's going on right now. We do still run our community character creation night, which gives you the opportunity to create your own character within the Midnight Comics universe. They can be and do anything. That character is all yours. We'll just have them in the background so that you can speculate and say, well, if my character got involved in that fight, man, that would have been a wrap. Yeah, well, let's talk about it. I want to immortalize the community within our stories as well. I think it would be very powerful and awesome. So there's that. Don't forget our What If Wednesdays, and of course to join the official group, Facebook group, Indie Breakdown or Indie Verses, if you would. That group has definitely grown drastically in the last couple of weeks. So definitely join the conversation. Share your characters or share your favorite indie comic book characters. I'm getting to that rambling phase, so we're gonna stop here. Definitely support Midnight Comics.org, all that other stuff. And remember, until next time, everybody. Midnight is coming.